What's up, guys? North Star Sports here. Big week for Minnesota sports.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So we'll just jump right into it here. The Gophers just landed another four-star recruit, Christian Williams, defensive tackle out of Memphis, Tennessee there. Big sign for them. I think that could be a big deal. PJ Fleck, speaking of PJ Fleck, just signed a one-year extension, so that puts him through 2024. So we're going to have him for a while here, and I'm really liking what he's doing. What do you think?
Well, I think he's the guy that's bringing in all these one-star recruits. I mean, you can definitely tell that the team buys into his message.
Yeah, I mean, I just like his energy. Every game, his energy is there, and if you look at the season that we've had so far, 6-6. I mean that's not a great season, but we're heading to a bowl, and I believe what I heard is we're over 50% underclassmen.
Well, and the biggest thing there too is we're in a real big rebuilding phase.
Yeah,
and think about Roddy Smith. We missed him for the whole season.
Oh yeah,
that's huge.
Torn ACL.
And then Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah,
he was crazy good at the beginning of the season, and then he was out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
so.
and I mean he's such a big cornerback.
He really is. I think he reminds me a lot of Antoine Winfield.
He kind of reminds me of Xavier Rhodes.
He does.
Honest with you.
He's a big dude.
Big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, big things for the Gophers. While they're starting to pull it out here a little bit, they had a bit of a slump there, and the other night they won 7-1.
And the night before that they won 5-1.
Yeah, so
it might be the other way around, but still.
Yeah.
If we could spread out some of these goals across some of these games, we'd be winning a lot more games.
No kidding. But it's nice to see them get out of that slump. They were slumping there for quite a while.
They were.
And then Miko Koivu's injury, the first initial report I heard was 3 months, and it's only supposed to be a week or so.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
But big news for the Vikings here. Just fired John DeFilippo, and I'm a little surprised that it was mid-season, but I also think something had to be done. And like Zimmer said, we don't want this to be a wasted season.
See, and my thing was, I was calling for DeFilippo's head after the Patriots game. I just thought that was pathetic to have. You have Dalvin Cook, who runs the ball 8 times for 94 yards, and you stop running the ball.
Yeah.
In a game that's a close game.
Well, and he's just so predictable. I mean, against the Seahawks, 3rd and 1, here comes Latavius, and what do you know? It's a run.
Exactly.
I was calling plays all game.
And nothing like special, not like a run outside or something like that, something to try to mix it up. You run it right up in the gut,
front, yeah.
Which is exactly what they expected.
Yeah, exactly. Run some play action out of that or something.
Yeah,
3rd
for
and
sure.
1, come on. And I get it. Our strengths are on the outside, but we got to run the ball more, and I really think that's what Stefanski and Zimmer are going to get back to.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Stefanski's been with the team for 13 years. He's the longest tenured coach for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's good to see him get a shot because he's a good guy. He's been there. He's loyal, and it'd just be nice to see him really take this opportunity and just really fly with it.
Well, and like you were saying, I think he's really like-minded, like Zimmer.
Oh, for sure.
Because I know that was the biggest thing coming out of this week is they were saying just how much Zimmer and DeFilippo butted heads.
Yeah, for sure.
And you could see it on the sideline. It was just they really didn't interact with each other at all.
There was mutual respect there, absolutely, but they just never got together. I guess if you want to say it that way, but. Yeah. But I think it had to happen. But we've got some big stuff coming up here. We've got the Dolphins at home tomorrow. That's a big game, and we can't overlook the Dolphins because the Dolphins are 7-6 and they've got a darn good defensive line.
Yeah. Well, if you look at just statistics, we blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
They're bottom of the barrel in just about everything. But when you look at it, first of all, like you said, they're 7-6, and they beat the Patriots last week.
Yeah.
So, a team that we got pretty much manhandled by.
Yeah, look at the 25 in passing defense, 29th in rushing D, and that's 139.5 yards a game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
but
a lot of
they're
yards.
not top 10 in any of the major categories, and that just kind of brings us back to Minnesota. We're just not. We're 5th in total defense and 17th in total offense. If we could just get into the top 12 in offense.
Well, and that's the thing. I think we're like 11th in passing. So that's not even. It's not our passing that's doing it. It's our run, because I think we're 29th or 28th in running.
Oh,
in running offense, it's bad.
At least, yeah.
That's bad. For guys that go out and have quite a few yards every game. I just don't think we're running them enough.
Yeah, we're not running. I get that we need to throw the football, and if you're down in the game, you have to throw the football, but you can't be throwing the football 40 times a game.
Exactly.
Well, and then that comes back to everybody's calling for Kirk Cousins' head, but Kirk Cousins, out of the top 6 highest paid quarterbacks in the league, he's the only one in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
And you know who's not calling for heads is nobody's calling for Matt Ryan's head. Nobody's calling for Aaron Rodgers' head. Matthew Stafford has never won a playoff game.
He barely even ever gets to the playoffs.
Yeah,
is my biggest thing.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't get. Well, there's people calling for Cousins' head. There's people calling for Zimmer's head. We wouldn't be where we're at, especially defensively, if we didn't have Zimmer.
Yeah, for sure.
And that needs to tone down. I mean, Zimmer's the guy.
That being said, Cousins has to play better.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse. Cousins absolutely has to play better. He's got fumbles.
Yeah.
We just totally offensively, we just need to play better as a whole.
Yeah, for
as a
sure.
unit, we need to play better.
That starts with play calling, though. Because
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is we became way too predictable.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, goes back to that third one.
Mm-hmm.
We're just so damn predictable. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Stefanski could really be the answer here. I think we could really turn it around. Because it's either going to be a complete turnaround and we'll make the playoffs, or we're just going to
it's going to bust,
yeah. But I really, as soon as I saw Stefanski got the job, I really liked it.
Well, and as soon as Brett Favre came out and was standing behind him.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Standing behind a guy who was his quarterback's coach.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's a big thing, too, because if you look at where Stefanski was in the Vikings organization,
Mm-hmm.
he's been a running backs coach, a quarterback's coach, and a tight ends coach.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge just because he knows all the players. I mean, he's worked with Kyle Rudolph, he's worked with Latavius Murray, he's worked with Dalvin Cook.
And I mean, just everybody.
Exactly.
He's worked with everybody. The only place he hasn't really dipped his feet in is the defense, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Don't
because
really
we got
need to
Zimmer
worry
there.
about it. Yeah, seriously. And I mean, it would just be really nice if he could just win over the job and we could get some stabilization in the offensive coordinator. Because we went from North Turner, and then we went to Pat Shurmur, who I really like Pat Shurmur, but and then we went to John DiFilippo, and it would just be nice if we could get some. But I get it. You know, offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators are going to be the first candidates usually for head coaching jobs.
For sure. Well, they're already talking about our defensive coordinator going to be a head coach.
Yeah,
next
George
year.
Edwards. Yeah, I could see it, but it would be nice if he could stick around. The only thing about that is we've got Zimmer.
That's my thing. Is that one's not as big of a loss?
Yeah.
Because I think Pat Shurmur was a bigger loss.
And I mean, speaking of Pat Shurmur, I mean, yeah, they started out the season bad, the Giants, but I mean, they're a fun bad team to watch.
Well, and that's the thing is, I mean, they're not even a terrible team.
Yeah.
I mean, look at them. I mean, they've pulled up some big upsets this year. Actually.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they just beat the Bears.
Exactly.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, they're not somebody to be overlooked. And I mean, I'm really impressed with Saquon Barkley.
Oh, I really like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
I think he's my favorite of the young players.
He was easily the best draft pick out of last year.
So now what I want to do is we're going to talk about the teams that are in the hunt for the playoffs. I want to talk about those 4 teams that are kind of sitting right there on the bubble, competing for that spot with the Vikings.
Yeah.
And I want to go over who they're going to play this week, and then let's get our picks.
And that just goes to show you how big that Seahawks game was, because the winner of that game, the Seahawks, has a 2-game cushion now.
Well, and a lot of people were thinking that when the Bears won, that it was the end of the world. But in the end, we got a lot of help.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody who we needed to lose.
Everybody except for the Bears lost.
Exactly.
And that was
so
big time.
well, and especially the game that I look at was the biggest was that Cowboys-Eagles game, and then the fact that the
for
Cowboys
sure.
won that was
For
huge
sure.
for us.
Well, and speaking of the Eagles, Carson Wentz, they're saying 3 months
Yeah, he fractured a vertebrae, I think.
fractured vertebrae. So I mean, who knows? I mean, they've dealt with so much injury when it comes to Sam Bradford and now Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a good guy. I like Carson Wentz, but
I don't care for him. But so let's look at this. So the Eagles are at the Rams this week. What's your pick for that game?
Eagles, Rams. I'm going to definitely go with the Rams. After the game against the Bears, I think that offense you can't contain them. I think they played terribly against the Bears, which goes to show you that I think defense is still a very prevalent thing in the NFL.
For sure.
And if you're well coached on defense, you can beat a good offense. But I just don't see the Eagles winning.
But there too, they talk about how great the defense was, but I just saw mistakes. When you see Jared Goff throwing the ball, it was bad.
Well, and that goes to show you, like, knock on wood, if the Vikings do get into the playoffs and we have to go to Soldier Field, if our offense can play a little better, Trubisky's not a good quarterback.
He's not. And that's the thing we have a good run game. If we can get our run game going at Soldier Field and break up that pass rush and then start throwing the ball, I mean, I don't see any reason we can't win that game.
I think there are ways that you can beat the Bears. You just have to be smart about it.
Yeah,
you got to
for sure.
get those
You
defensive
can't make
ends
mistakes,
running up
and
the
you can't
field.
make mistakes.
Can't make mistakes, absolutely.
I mean, and that's where you have a situation where you put in an extra tight end. You know what I mean, and have them chip off those chip off the defensive ends while they're going out and stuff like that. But so the next game I want to talk about is the Panthers, and they're playing at home against the Saints.
The Panthers have been drowning.
I think so too.
Cam Newton is not healthy. His shoulder isn't 100%, and you saw that on the last play of the game. There,
well, they pulled in the backup quarterback.
Yeah, they had to bring in. What's his name?
But anyways, they brought in a backup quarterback to throw the last play of the game. When you have a quarterback like Cam Newton, if he's healthy, you're definitely not gonna do that. And I think the biggest thing too is it is at home for them. But the Saints are rolling. I mean, I don't think that their defense is good enough.
Well, and off the
to
Cowboys loss, I mean, yeah, the Cowboys played great. They absolutely did. No, not taking anything from them. But
you're talking about the Saints-Cowboys game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Saints, I mean, they're a pretty darn good team.
Yeah. That's the thing, though, is I look at the teams this year that are right up there in the undefeated range. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss. None of them are that great because everybody wants to lose their mind about the Chargers, but look at their division is awful. The only person in their division is the Chiefs.
But I actually think the most complete team in the AFC is the Chargers.
See, but I don't think they're that great. I really don't.
But they went into Kansas City, and they were the only team in the NFL history to come back from 14 points in 5 minutes.
I think of it more as luck. If you look at the last play of the game, I think that's pass interference on the offense. He pushed off.
Pass interference,
and then there was a wide open for the 2-point conversion.
Coverage in the 2-point
conversion. I just don't. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on any of the teams that are top tier teams. I can't put my staple on them and say that's a team that could win the Super Bowl.
Well, and that goes to show, like with the Kansas City Chiefs, their offense is dynamic, probably the best in the league, but their defense is horrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
The only good thing is their defensive line because I think they sacked Phillip Rivers 5 times.
If Patrick Mahomes didn't throw 4 touchdowns a game, they would have won 2 games this year.
Their defense is too bad. But I mean, that's the AFC. I mean, that's where you can talk about where the Patriots, and this is such a broken record, but they are so good at the end of the year.
They're just consistent the end of the year.
Yeah.
They don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and they play their style of football really well.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been in this situation however many times.
Exactly. Same quarterback, same coach.
Same thing. It's the same thing over and over again for them.
So now the next game is the Redskins at the Jags. And I think this is a game where the Jags could actually win. It's going to be I think it's a very low-scoring game. I think it's one of those games where you have 2 bad teams going after each other.
You
look at the Redskins, and they're 6-7, and they're in the hunt, but they don't have a quarterback.
No.
Mark Sanchez is their quarterback.
And Mark Sanchez got pulled, so they're on their 4th string.
Yeah. I just don't see him beating the Jags.
I feel so bad for Adrian Adrian Peterson, because he looks so good this year. It's fun to watch. But, like you said, there's just 2 bad teams. The Vikings need the Redskins to lose. Yeah. And I think the Jags take this one.
I think they do, too, especially because it's at the Jags.
And the Jags their defense is pretty darn good.
It is pretty good.
This is going to be a very low-scoring game, a very sloppy game.
But especially Blake Bortles isn't in there, is he?
No, Blake Bortles, they pulled him. So.
And then the last game we want to watch is the Packers at the Bears.
And this is funny. This is where the Vikings need to start rooting for the Bears.
Really, though?
Because in reality, we're probably not going to catch the Bears.
The only situation we catch the Bears is if they lose out and we win out.
Yeah, but the thing is the Packers are sitting right behind it. They're only a game behind us. Yeah. So we want the Bears to win this game.
For sure.
And this is at Soldier Field?
Yes, it's at Soldier Field.
So it's at Soldier Field. And
I just don't see the Packers winning this one.
I can see the Packers winning it, but we need the Bears to win it.
And with that being
said, the Packers will probably win this game.
I just don't see it happening. I mean, I see how good the Bears' defensive rush is, and I just don't think the offensive line of the Packers is going to be able to do anything
for sure.
about that.
The thing about it is they need to feed their running backs. If Green Bay can get the running game going, take a little bit of pressure off Aaron Rodgers, I think Aaron Rodgers can put up some points, but I can see the Packers winning this game, but again, we want the Bears to win this one.
For sure. And, I mean, in the end, what it comes down to is we just got to win. We control our own destiny. and we just got to win.
We got to win. I think there's a possibility that we can lose one more game and still get in, but we need to win these last 3 games. And the thing about it is we've got 3 games. We've got 2 at home, 1 on the road in Detroit, and we've got 3 dome games. So I'm glad that weather's not going to play a factor in this, but we need to win these 3 games.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that I look at it, too, I mean, as we were just going over it, I mean, the Rams, Eagles, Rams take that game. Panthers, Saints take that game. Redskins, Jags take that game. Packers, Bears take that game. I mean, that's a totally feasible thing to happen.
For sure. And the thing is when we're wanting the Bears to win, if it comes down to the end of the season to where the Bears have won, that's when we're playing second stringers with our first stringers. So I mean,
another team that we should be watching. That, I mean, I don't know what the possibility of us catching them is, but the Seahawks.
If we can get that second.
The only thing about it is they play the 49ers, they play the Chiefs, and they play the Cardinals. So that Chiefs game, I don't see them winning that Chiefs game.
So they're going to win 2 games there, and they've got a 1-game lead on us.
Yeah. So they have to lose 2 games, and we have to win out.
Yeah. Which I don't see them losing 2 games. Maybe 1 game, but I don't see them losing 2. They're
to be honest though, team. This is kind of my wild card pick. I see them losing to the 49ers. It's at San Francisco, and I could see them losing that game.
Yeah,
I mean, they have trouble with division before.
Yeah.
Look at them against the Rams when the Rams were nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my biggest thing. I totally don't think that it's not. That's my wild card pick for the week.
Yeah.
I think the Rams upset the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But so what are the keys going forward for the Vikings to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we touched on it already. We got to run the football. We got to be less predictable. And again, that goes with running the football.
Yeah, for sure.
I think a big thing that we still haven't got going, and I don't know why, but we need to get running back screens in here. We do a lot of wide receiver
We get
screens.
destroyed on them all the time.
Yeah.
Do running back screens and do those little tight end sideline passes.
And it's a big thing when we play the Bears. Get those defensive ends up the field and let Dalvin Cook, one of the most dynamic, not even running backs, but players in the NFL in open space.
See, and my key to the Vikings going deep into the playoffs is definitely the play of Kirk Cousins. He just needs to be better down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we can't throw 2 picks a game and to be in the game.
When you look at his numbers right now, I mean, he's sitting at 24 TDs with 9 interceptions. Those are pretty decent numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I'm pretty sure he's still over 100 quarterback rating. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, and 98.4, but close enough. But anyways, what I look at is you got a guy like Case Keenum, who everybody thinks it was the biggest mistake for the Vikings to let him go and whatever. But I see his stats this year. He's got 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And his QBR is 84.3.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I just see a huge drop-off from there.
Yeah, I mean, and I really feel it was more of a one-hit wonder thing anyways.
Well, I don't even think it was a one-hit wonder. I think it was the team made him look better. Our defense was the number 1 defense in the league last year.
Yeah, I mean,
and we have 2 of the best receivers with 1 of the best tight ends.
Yeah.
Good run game. I mean...
And and speaking of tight ends, I think that's actually one of the sneaky keys is we got to continue to get Kyle Rudolph.
We have to start to try and get him because the last couple. I mean, we had 1 game this season where he had 6
Well, against the
receptions.
Packers, he had 6 receptions.
But other than that, I mean, he hasn't
really
had much. I mean, I think he's like 11th among tight ends in the league.
Yeah,
for receptions. I just think,
like I said, that's going to be a sneaky one. The big one, and everybody knows this. This is our team. The defense has to continue to trend up.
Yeah, and they have. I mean, I've seen a huge difference between them at the beginning of the season and then now because the beginning of the season was pathetic.
Yeah.
From coming out being the number 1 defense in the league last year to the start of this year.
I was thinking maybe we probably thought we had, we were this big top defense and confidence was high and come in thinking, oh, we've got this. So, I mean, just got to continue to trend up. I think we have to continue to get takeaways. Takeaways are a big thing, especially if we end up going to Chicago playing the Bears.
Well, just winning the turnover battle.
Turnover ratio. I mean, yeah, that's a huge
That's
thing,
huge because when I think of our turnovers, it's not picks, it's not fumbles by running backs, it's fumbles by Cousins.
Yeah.
That's our big thing right now. And I think I read a statistic that Cousins has the most turnovers that instantly turn into points this year. So fumbles that are taken back for 6 or interceptions that go back for 6.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big key too.
For sure.
Just hang on to the ball, play a little better defense. Or hang on the ball on offense and play better defense. Take away the ball. So now let's go a little bit smaller. Let's see what we can focus on this week. What do you think the keys are for the Vikings to win against the Dolphins tomorrow?
Against the Dolphins, definitely we got to keep Cousins up. Again, they've got a really good defensive line. The Dolphins have a really good defensive line. Cousins can't, strip sacks. It's going to be a huge thing. Of course, we have to get the running game. That's been the same story over and over and over again. But I think we need to get into the game quick, get the crowd into it, and I think we'll be just fine.
My biggest keys for this game is with Cousins, we got to throw the ball quick. We got to get the ball quick so that we can bring up their defense, and then once they're up, we go over the top on them. I think that's what has made Cousins so successful this year.
Yeah,
is doing the quick throws and then going over the top, and that all starts on the offensive line.
Yeah, well, just get the ball out, get it to your athletes, and let them do it.
Exactly.
Don't put so much stress on the
You have two of the best
line.
Receivers in the league,
and I feel like what we've gone away from a lot. I mean, yes, you have to have the run game for the play action, but I think we haven't done enough play action to move the defense and get our athletes in space.
One, I think it was on PTI the other day. They were talking about how unsuccessful Kirk Cousins is at the play action. From what I've seen this year and when he played for the Redskins, he's an amazing play action passer.
Yeah, I mean, he's athletic.
When you get him out into space and let him work, he does just fine.
He doesn't want to throw the ball. He can run the ball.
Exactly.
He's athletic enough.
That's another key, I think, actually.
Getting
when he has the opportunity to run, he has to run the ball. I get it that you can pick up 15 yards and whatever and get the first down plus. I just want the first down.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the biggest thing there is when he has gotten out of the pocket, he's got somebody chasing him. You know what I mean? You got to either get the ball out or you got to tuck the ball and run. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do. And, I mean, I just think that's
and another key, not only for the game coming up against the Dolphins, but for the season in general, is the special teams have to start doing something here.
Yeah.
I mean, whether that's a kick return, a big kick return, a punt return, or just getting more consistent, and this is, again, beating a dead horse, we got to make field goals when we can.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what it is about Minnesota and field goal kickers, but you try to bring in a fresh new guy, can't kick the ball, Dan Carlson. Then you go to the second best kicker in all of NFL history, and he misses chip shot field goals. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's one of the keys too.
Yeah, I actually think that is a big key is special teams coming up here.
So this being Stefanski's first game, what do you expect out of him in the first game?
I expect a very simplified offense. Not a whole lot going on. I mean, just getting the ball out to Diggs, to Thielen, whatever, quick slants, whatever it happens to be, but it's going to be a very simple offense, and I think Zimmer's going to have a lot of say in it. Also, I've been reading that Kirk Cousins is going to have a lot of say in it, but ultimately I think it's going to come down to Zimmer, and we're going to run the ball a lot. I can see us running the ball a lot today.
Yeah, for sure. And if Cousins does what Cousins can do, what we've seen him do throughout the year.
Well, and the thing is I mean, it's been, 3 or 4 games where he's played subpar, but look at the Rams. He kept us in that game. We had a chance to win that game. The Packers tie, we would never have been in that game if we had Case Keenum.
No,
so I mean, we just got to get back to playing the way the offense can play.
Well, and I think the biggest key for that is the offensive line has to play better.
They have to play better.
As much blame as you want to put on Kirk Cousins for that, it all starts up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat Elflein has been somewhat of a disappointment this year.
He's been mediocre at best.
Compton has not played well.
No.
I think the one bright spot on the offensive line has definitely been Brian O'Neill. It's been amazing to see him come in there as a first year and actually play pretty well.
For sure. I think Mike Remmers is one of those guys that I really expected to make big leaps coming into this year. He's been pretty mediocre.
For the most part.
He started off the season really well, and I think that's the truth for our whole offensive line. We look pretty decent. There are some games where we look really good, like against the Packers, the second game. We looked great. I mean, very little drops, very little
sacks, and even Cousins will tell you 2 of those sacks were his fault.
Coverage sacks. I mean, he has to get the ball out faster. That's his responsibility, or get out of the pocket and make something happen.
Yeah, but I see a very simplified offense not only for the Dolphins but for the rest of the year.
I mean, I would definitely agree with that. So now we're gonna end the show. We're just gonna go through the NFL schedule this week and get our picks down.
All right, so we got some Saturday games. First game, Texans and Jets. I think the Texans definitely take this one.
I think so too.
Pretty darn
I think
well
their
this
defense
year.
is just too good.
Yeah, and actually I really like Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to be a staple quarterback if he can stay healthy.
I think that's the key for him is
For
just
sure.
to stay healthy.
Big time. Browns, Broncos. I actually think I'm going to take the Browns on this one.
I think I am too. I think Baker Mayfield has showed some really good, promising signs.
Especially as a rookie. The Broncos definitely have been trending up, but I don't know. I actually really like this Browns team.
I just can't put that much faith in Case Keenum.
Yeah, as sad as it is to say, but I totally agree with you. And then we're going to get to the Sunday games. First game here, Titans and Giants.
I got the Giants. I think the Giants, they've just played so well over the last couple weeks.
They're a very fun, bad team to watch.
And I don't even think they're becoming a bad team anymore. I remember,
They're really not.
I remember coming out of halfway point, everybody's joking, like, what is the most unrealistic way for the Giants to make the playoffs?
And it was to win out.
And went out, and they've played very, very well.
Do I think
they'll make the playoffs?
No,
I don't
they're
think
absolutely
they will.
not going to make the playoffs. But
I think they've played really well.
They're a pretty fun team to watch. I mean, Saquon Barkley is a stud.
For sure.
He's an absolute stud. Dolphins, Vikings. Obviously, we're taking the Vikes.
Yep.
Redskins, Jags. Decided on the Jags on that one. Cowboys, Colts.
You know, as much attention is going to the Cowboys right now, I think the Colts upset them.
I actually think Andrew Luck is playing very well this year, and if they can keep him upright, keep him healthy, like we always say, I think the Colts pull this one out as well.
Is that at Colts or at Cowboys?
This is at Cowboys.
So, I mean, that there too, it kind of shifts it, but I still think the Colts take this
Nope,
one.
that's at the Colts.
So I see the Colts taking this one.
Yeah, I see it. Raiders, Bengals. Bengals are on a downhill slide. Oh my God.
But that being said, I don't see much out of the Raiders.
Really? I think I'm going to take the Raiders on this one.
I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I really just think that their offense is better than the Raiders' defense.
I think this is finally where Marvin Lewis, maybe not this game, but this year, I don't think he'll be back next year.
Yeah, I could definitely see that, but I'm picking the Bengals.
Next one here, we got Packers and the Bears.
I mean, I have to pick the Bears in this one. I just don't see the Packers winning.
This is a game where, and every Minnesota Vikings fan can say this, where we need the Bears to win, but I think the Packers are going to win this one.
And I mean, I can see your point there. I just think that if you compare the quarterbacks, I mean, I take Aaron Rodgers over Mitchell Trubisky every single day.
I mean, I think Mitchell Trubisky is a tier 3 quarterback.
I think he's a low 3 tier.
Low 3. He's not. He's not very good.
I can think of 5 quarterbacks off the top of my head that I think
For
that
sure.
are lower tier quarterbacks that are better than him.
Absolutely. Okay, so you got the Bears in that one. I got the Packers, and then we've got the Lions and the Bills. I think the Bills are going to take this one. This is at Buffalo.
I see the Lions winning this one. I mean, I think that they're still a good team.
I mean, they're 5-8.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
that's kind of actually surprising to me, and it's tough to say considering we have to go to Detroit next week. But I'm taking Bills.
I just think the biggest key in this game is I am picking the Lions, but I think that the Bills can cause a lot of trouble by getting to
Their
Matthew
defense.
Stafford.
The Bills have a decent defense.
And look at the Vikings playing against them. I mean, they sacked Stafford 10 times.
Yeah,
that's tough.
For sure.
You can't win a game when that happens.
Next one here, we got the Buccaneers and the Ravens. This is a big game for the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson was taken as the starter over Joe Flacco.
I saw that.
So I think this is a big game for the Ravens, and I think the Ravens take this one.
See, I see that. I'm going to take the Bucs in this one.
And this is at Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of tension going on there in Baltimore with Joe Flacco being taken out of the starting job.
He actually looked like a sad kid.
He did.
When he found out he was not going to be the starter.
And I think the Bucs, I think their record doesn't reflect how good of a team they are. I think they're a pretty decent team.
The thing is, though, is with Lamar Jackson, he's very dynamic on his feet, but he has a long way to go as a passer.
Yeah, for sure. And
that's a lot of weight for a rookie.
Well, filling those shoes. I mean, Joe Flacco's not a bad quarterback.
He's all right.
Has he played bad this season? Yes. But I don't see him winning that game.
Then we got the Cardinals and the Falcons. That's at Atlanta, and this is surprising. Cardinals 3-10, Falcons 4-9. That's just that when I compare those two, that surprises me.
Well, I think that comes back to our discussion earlier. People are calling for Cousins heads, but
what about Matt Ryan?
Exactly.
Matt Ryan's not even close.
Exactly. I mean, that is beyond a losing record. I mean, that's the point where you're done. I mean, because we made the point about Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is still in the playoff hunt. You know what I mean? He's not in the playoffs, but he's in the hunt.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Matt Ryan gets so overlooked, and I actually believe Matt Ryan right now is the highest paid quarterback per year. He's either second or he's first.
Yeah, he's second only to Aaron Rodgers.
Only to Aaron Rodgers, okay.
Who just signed his new
deal.
Yeah,
exactly. Next one, we got the Seahawks and the 49ers. I'm taking the Seahawks. I believe you said you're taking the 49ers. And like you said, that's at Candlestick. So, let's see. We got the Patriots and the Steelers. I think that's probably the best matchup of the week. I'm not going to go away from the Patriots.
I'm also going to take the Patriots. I think the key to this is you got Roethlisberger, who's not healthy.
Well, and just the Steelers in general aren't healthy.
Exactly. Well, and I don't know. I think the Steelers are a team, I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs.
They're 7-5-1, so they're a game ahead of the Vikings, but yeah, granted that's AFC, but yeah.
I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm going to take the Patriots in that one. The only thing is that's going to be at Pittsburgh. The next one, we got the Eagles and the Rams. We went with the Rams on that one. And then we got the Saints and the Panthers, and that's Monday night. I think it could maybe be a good game, but I'm still taking the Saints on this one.
I think it's going to be a blowout.
The thing about this is the Panthers, they've lost 4 straight games by 7 points or less. That's a crazy stat.
It is, but they haven't played the Saints.
No, I definitely think the Saints are going to take this one.
I would agree with you. Well, those are our picks for the week. If you have any questions, email us at northstarsportscast@gmail.com and tune in next week.